Let's talk about where you're from, how you got to Clearwater.
I'm from Huntington Beach, California. I recently moved out here probably in the last year and a half, kind of because my girlfriend lives out here, and then also just the weather and the housing prices and market is so much cheaper here than California.
So when did you start playing disc golf, Paul?
I would say I pretty much started in 2004. My dad's played for 20 plus years, so I've known the sport my whole life, but I didn't take it serious until I got into about high school.
Why'd you pick it up then?
I think the biggest thing was from middle school to high school. I went to a different high school, so I didn't really know anybody. So it was kind of weird, like trying to find something to do, but that I could do by myself. So I just remember my dad played disc golf all the time with his buddies, and I saw people out there by themselves. So I went out there by myself a couple times, and it was something I could do by myself and not feel awkward.
Yeah, not have to have a team environment to play in. I hear you pitched when you were young.
I pitched once in a while. Mostly second base and shortstop is what I played in baseball, but pitching once in a while. I thought it was boring, so.
So it sort of transcends any kind of ball playing, would probably help your athletic ability when it comes to playing this high level of disc golf, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think any sports, any athlete can pick up disc golf pretty easily. It's really, I think they pick it up quicker than most people because they just know how their body works and they figure out how to throw a disc. But I think the hardest part for athletes is mentally getting past, once they hit that wall, mentally improving their game, which will eventually erase strokes.
So when I had a couple of people from Facebook ask me to ask you a couple of questions, and one was directly involved with your mental approach to the game. You seem to shut everything out really well when you play the game. How do you go about that?
I think the biggest thing mentally that helps me out is after I throw a shot, whether it's good or bad, there's no way you can change it. The only thing you can do from there is move on and improve on your next shot. So I think that's the biggest thing that'll help you mentally.
Do you believe that as this year goes forward, another question that was asked was comparatively in 2011 and 2012, you didn't putt as well as you did in 2013. What did you do to change that part of your game?
Well, I actually think putting's always been one of my strengths. I think in the transition between those couple of years, I think I got better inside the circle and made most of those putts. But I think the biggest change was driving accuracy for me and focusing on every drive, because usually I just throw it and be like, well, I can make a 100-footer, I can make an 80-footer. It's not a problem. I don't have to put it that close. But once those started adding up, I think I really had to improve on my driving mostly.
And that was a question that someone else asked too, in relative to how do you prepare for a tournament physically as far as getting ready to play? Because you guys play a lot of rounds.
Yeah, physically it's tough, especially when you're on the road driving all the time. You can't really work out like you do in the off season, but really during the season you just have to play constantly and be out there and moving and constantly walking around, maybe occasional run or push-ups or simple things like that, because you don't have the luxury of having a gym everywhere you go. So I think the biggest thing I guess you could call it would be disc golf shape, and then just being used to playing rounds over and over and over.
And when you play a lot of rounds, is there any kind of mental fatigue and physical fatigue that you feel?
The biggest mental fatigue from playing tournaments and rounds is after a tournament, you just put so much into it mentally. Usually the big events, you're just drained for, it could be up to a week where you're just out of it. You don't know what's going on. But yeah, mentally it takes a toll on you, and it's tough. That's why a lot of players have to take off a week or two before a big tournament and a week or so after just to recover from that mentally.
Hang on.